Hello, everyone, and welcome back to season 2 of State of Sonder. I'm really excited about the episodes to come, and it's been a minute since my last one. And honestly, I had to take a little bit of a step back. When I started season 1 in January, I had like a sense of what I wanted to do, but it was the first time doing it. I'd been thinking about this for 10 years and I never really thought that I was going to do anything about it. But I think last year or 2 years ago, I really had that fire in my soul of like, okay, you've been thinking about this for way too long, so you need to try it. And so I did, but I went into it not knowing anything. I really didn't know just the challenges that I would face and just how much work it was. And juggling that while doing my job and all of that, it got really overwhelming. But I think taking a step back and resetting and reevaluating and thinking about even if I even wanted to continue doing it, it just gave me a lot more perspective. And I think I learned a lot from doing the first season of like what you need to think about and what not to do and all of that. Not to say that I didn't have my fair share of issues in the episodes to come, because honestly, I feel like I'm just jinxed with technological issues because something was always happening. But I'm just thinking that it's growing pains, and it's never going to be like perfect when you start. And I think starting is what's important. And I think a lot of times the way that I've operated in my life is like, I want things that I put out or work on or whatnot to be just like perfect or like the best it could possibly be. But I think that has oftentimes like prevented me from doing things, because things are not going to be perfect if you're doing it for the first time, and they're not going to be like everything you want it to be, but you learn and you grow. And I think the first step is just to try it and just to do it. So that kind of was my first season. But honestly, I'm going to say that it was better than I could have imagined. Like, I was so, so, so grateful to everyone that shared space and time with me for my first season. I had no backing. I'm not an influencer. I started from zero. Just being willing to like take time out of their busy schedule to sit here and talk about their journey and their life with me, and oftentimes get really vulnerable and talk about things that they normally wouldn't. It was just, I was so honored and I was so grateful. And then just everyone that really supported me and helped me and encouraged me to do it and to keep going. Like, I couldn't have done it honestly by myself at all. I didn't know anything about audio. I didn't know about editing. I had to learn that on the fly. And I'm just very thankful because people really helped me out. Like, I couldn't have done it without that support. So I'm very, very thankful. It was really fun. And I, look back on some of the episodes and rewatch them. And it was just, I don't know, it really is fulfilling, and it really brings me joy, and it warms my heart to be able to kind of have these kind of conversations with people. And that's kind of the whole point of why I started this to begin with. And I'm just trying to expand on that and grow on that. I will say, the past couple months have been a really, really challenging season for me. One that I didn't expect, and one that has really, transformed me in a lot of ways, but has also kind of made me have to face things within myself a lot. And I think that I'm still in the process of kind of, discovering and navigating that. So I will say, like, I'm in a kind of rough season right now, but I also think that I'm trying to face it with a lot of grace and patience and positivity to see, what this can bring me moving forward. I feel like because I was going through a tough time, like, it also propelled me to kind of crash out and do like a bunch of random things. But one of those things was I went to New York and I spent some time there. I was there for 2 weeks, and I had gone with kind of this mindset of like, what could I do for State of Sonder while I'm out there? And I started to like kind of ideate before I went on this trip. And New York is a second home to me. I used to live there. I went to school there. And I go there like very frequently, but I think in the past like 5 years or so, every single time I went to New York was for something. It was for a wedding. It was for friends. It was for like a partner. And those experiences all were so unique and beautiful in their own way. And I loved every single moment of those experiences. But I think this time I really wanted to focus the trip on myself and what I needed and what I wanted to get out of it. And I honestly think it was really what I needed, and it was amazing. And I got to go out there and shoot a couple episodes. I got to shoot some content. And one of the things that I did out there was, I feel like Sonder came to me. No, not I feel like. I know that Sonder came to me when I was in New York. I was in a bus going upstate for a friend's wedding, and I was looking out the window because we were in so much traffic, and I just saw so many people just trying to cross the street, walking, and I would look at their expression and I could recognize, like, some people are like beaming and some people are like rushing to get somewhere. Some people have just like a frown on their face. And that's how Sonder came to me. And that's what really propelled me to be like, okay, I know what direction I want, and I know what I want to do with this podcast and what it means to me. And it was just like, everybody is kind of going through their own thing and their own experience and their own life. And while I was in New York, I was like, this is the perfect place where you're running into strangers pretty much every moment that you're outside to engage and just see who they are and what they're about. And I was very, very nervous. I was so shy because like I am extroverted, but like ever since COVID, I feel like I've developed really bad social anxiety. And I've shared this with like people around me as well, where like I do get really anxious. And that's something that I'm trying to work on. And so I feel like exposure therapy was kind of the best way to go about it. But initially I went with one of my friends to Washington Square, and I was sitting there like trying to muster the courage to like go talk to people. And I just couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. I was like, I'm like, so like my insides were like shaking. So my friend was so sweet. She was like, okay, today's just not the day then. But another day I have a friend of mine who like literally has no social anxiety. And she was like, I'll go with you. I'll ask. And then, so she went with me to the park, and we would ask people if they would be willing to answer a question for me for my podcast. And some people said no, obviously, which I totally understand. It's kind of weird. And some people don't like to be on camera. But some people said yes. And they were so kind and so sweet. And there was one girl in particular that I spoke with. And after I did the little clip, I just got to talking to her and what she was up to. And she was on her way very soon to go on this like year-long yoga training thing in India. And I don't know, her energy was just so beautiful. And it was one that like, I think you meet certain people where they're just really bright and they carry this light inside them. And she was one of them. And we just got to talking, and she asked me about the podcast, and I was telling her how it came to be. And she was like, that's really awesome. That's great. And then kind of told her like why I was out in New York, like what I was kind of going through. And she had gone through something similar like a year before. And I got really emotional, like choked up talking to her, and I could feel like tears welling up in my eyes. And I was like, Debbie, like stop it right now. But it was just like a very special moment. And it just reminded me like we're all connected with energy in some form or way. And I think we oftentimes forget about that because we're so isolated within our own minds and what we're doing in our everyday. And I'm honestly someone that caves in a lot. Like I cave into my own tunnel, and I see my life and the people around me, and I focus so much of my attention on that. But it's so important to also just look up and see your environment and see who's around you and engage with them. We're all human. And I think I lost that for so long, and just being out there and talking to people like really channeled that inside me again. And I'm not going to say like I'm like this like super brave girl that doesn't have fears or isn't shy anymore, because I still am. Like even being back in LA, like it's been harder for me to try to do that. But I think it's something that I'm constantly trying to challenge myself with in this season of my life. So I went to New York, I did all that. And honestly, being in New York was so nice. Like New York is just a city that is so special to me. And when I was there for school, I was a broke college kid just trying so hard to like make ends meet for myself. And um, I was working so much. I was going to school. Like I just didn't have like a real experience, I would say, of New York. And um, I didn't have like that many friends either. And so it was a very like, I was very independent. And I think um, I was reminded again this time around while I was out there, just like that I am that kind of person and that I am someone who does like doing like random things and I'm able to do them by myself. And I think I lost that for a long time because like out in LA, you're comfortable. I have my family out here. I have my friends, my group of friends who are literally my second family and they're amazing. And I love spending time with them. And, I realize like sometimes you can get so comfortable in that space that you forget about the things that make you yourself. And while I was out there, I obviously have a lot of friends out there and I spent time with them, but it just so happened that one of my closest friends out there that I was staying with very unexpectedly had to go back home to Philadelphia. And so the time that I was there, she spent like some time with me, but then she had to leave. And then, so I was like, oh man, that sucks. But it kind of was like a blessing in disguise because it allowed me time to spend a lot of time alone. And then also I have another one of my best friends out there who's her roommate that I haven't connected with in a long time because she's been so busy. I've been so busy. She's been traveling around the world. And I feel like for 2 years, like we didn't really have like one-on-one time. And so being able to have that with her, like reignited our connection and our friendship and just reminded me so much of how much love is there. And then I got to spend a lot of time by myself, which was what I really needed. And being in New York, I think what I loved was you can kind of just do anything that you want. And I would go on these like, they would make fun of me because I would have like over 20,000 steps a day because every morning I'd go on like a run or whatever, but I would also go on these walks and they're like aimless walks. Like I'm not really going anywhere. I'm just walking. And, but I would always go in the morning and in the evening to this one park, Domino Park in Williamsburg. And it was like my safe haven. I think anywhere I go, I find a spot that feels grounding for me. Like for me here, it's the beach, like whether it's like, Malibu or Huntington Beach, like the ocean or bodies of water always make me feel like safe and grounded. And so I would always go to Domino Park because there's just like, you see the bridge, you see the city, you see all this water. And like, I would just sit there and people watch, but also look out in the water and just like spend so much time with myself. And it really, I'm trying not to get emotional. I'm like an emotional ball, but okay. It just really brought me back to myself where you could hear yourself. You can think, you can feel the things that have been so dormant and you don't even know how long they've been dormant, right? And it's like, it also gives you a chance to really sit in your emotions and your thoughts and your feelings in like a very raw and authentic way because you don't have the noise. I think when you're going through your day to day and you're like freaking trying so hard to like work and be a good friend, be a good daughter or son, or be a good partner if you're in a relationship, and like as great as those things are and how amazing they are, your mind is cluttered and your mind and your soul, they're like just in disarray a lot of times. And I think we don't prioritize the time to sit with yourself and put a mirror in front of yourself and look at you and just think, okay, what is going on within me? Why do I feel the way that I feel? How can I progress? How can I move forward? What do I want in my life? What do I value? Like not having that time to dissect that in a really, really honest and raw way and not unearth all of the things within yourself, it stifles your growth. It makes you unable to move forward. It makes you unable to see things in a clear way. It makes you sabotage things that are important. And I realized that, wow, I needed that. I really needed that. And I'm not going to say I sat there and then like all of the answers came to me. Like, no way. Like I'm still trying to uncover a lot of things. And I started looking for therapists again and having consultations with them because I was like, I'm starting to notice these things within myself, but I don't truly know how to navigate through it or around it. And I would love some like tips and, tangible tools on how to do that. And so I think I wouldn't have had those realizations if I didn't spend that time to get there. And it was uncomfortable and it was hard. And I think a lot of days, some days I'd feel like better and I'd feel okay. And then other days I'd just be like this guttural pain within me. And I'd wake up being like, what the fuck? Like, I feel like I took a million steps back, but I think it was really good for me. And I'm so grateful that I had the opportunity to do that and that I gave myself the space to do that. And I think I've done therapy many times before, but I think this time I had more of a specific thing that I wanted to tackle. And for the first time, I was open to working with a male therapist. And I had never thought about this before because I've only ever, like, you can do filters when you're looking for a therapist. And I would literally just do women because that was just like, of course, women are more empathetic and they're more, caring. And I'm a woman and they'll understand me more. But I think for the specific things that I wanted to kind of explore, I was very open to having a male perspective. And I think a lot of things within myself have stemmed from having like a kind of hard relationship with my dad growing up. Like now we're great and we have a great relationship, but those things linger and the trauma from your childhood stays in you. And even if it's not in your maybe soul or your mind, like it stays within your body. And what I mean by that is sometimes I think trauma manifests within your actual physical state. And I think for me, it was like, I would feel it in my body, like numbness or like shaking or just feeling this like real discomfort in my stomach. And those things would get triggered by things that I don't even really recognize, but I'm feeling it within myself. Right. And so I think those things are what I kind of wanted to unpack. And I felt like, oh, maybe because that was like a male figure in my life, also seeing from a male perspective could be beneficial for me. So I don't know. I'm just starting this kind of journey as well. And so I'm interested in to see how it transpires and I'm kind of excited about it. So I can talk about that more once like I have more experience in it. But I wasn't even going to go to that, but like it just kind of naturally went there. But speaking of the second season, I am really excited for the episodes that I've already recorded. I will say I have had the most, like, I just can't catch a break with the filming. Something has happened in each episode. I've been like trying so hard to like make sure everything is working and all of that, but you just never know what's going to happen. And, like one episode, the audio ended up not recording. And so I had to use the camera audio. And that episode, I wasn't even sure if I could put it out in the state that it was. But it was such a good one. And I was like, I can't let this go. And so a friend of mine just so graciously is helping me try to recover some of the audio. And I think I'm going to put it out, but it's not going to be the best quality. I'm just going to say that up front. And then one of the episodes, the one that's coming out after this one, it's so funny. It's one of my best friends. And but he kept lifting his arm and it like kept blurring some of the frames. But you know what? Like, I'm running with it. I'm still growing. These are all growing pains and I'm learning from it. Oh, and then yesterday I recorded one and the SD card got corrupted. And I was like, maybe this is literally not for me. But thankfully, we were able to recover the footage after I'd like spent hours on trying to recover it. But thank God, because it was such a good one. So I'm just rolling with the punches, honestly. I feel like I keep getting beat down, but I'm like, just go with it. Just keep going. So yeah, I am very excited. I think this is going to be different in terms of just like I'm trying a little bit like of different ways in terms of how I'm cutting it and editing it and all of that. But I just think I'm again really grateful for people who have been willing to come on and share their story. Some people like really don't like being in front of the camera and they're like are really uncomfortable, but they were willing to, and it just really warms my heart. And I feel like as much as I am feeling like I am in this like really rough season, I think there has been a lot of great things to come from it as well. Like being able to really focus in on this second season, and like I've been filming pretty much like every weekend, and that's been kind of my priority. Or like if I'm not filming, I'm editing, and editing has been taking so much longer than I could have ever imagined. I feel like my eyes are going cross-eyed, but I think when you find something that's yours and you put so much energy there, like it doesn't feel like time wasted, and it really feels fulfilling. And being able to like listen back as you're editing and like hearing these moments, it is very rewarding and fulfilling for me. And so it's been really fun. And another thing that I have recognized in just the past couple of months has been a really big mindset shift in terms of like what I do for my career and my work. And I got to a point last year where I was really miserable. I was really miserable. I didn't want to do what I was doing anymore. I felt stuck. I felt like, damn, like did I make the right decision in switching careers, because I don't know that this is my path or my avenue. And I think I was so fixated on like I wasn't as good as like certain people, and then I wasn't sure if I even wanted to do what they were doing type of thing. And then it made me feel really lost, because I was like, wait, I already switched careers once. Like I don't like, how am I going to do that again and start over? And I bombarded my mind with the wrong things, and I bombarded my mind so much with negativity of like what I didn't have and what I couldn't see. And it really brought me back to thinking about, purpose, right? Like I feel most people think about this, and a lot of times in society, you're pressured to think about what is your calling in life and what is your purpose. And oftentimes people relate purpose with their career, which is totally makes sense too. But I don't think that that is always the case. And I think that for me, I had to remove myself from my career and think about what is meaningful for me as just me, Debbie. And I think for me, I find a lot of purpose in human connection. And I think I was honestly put on this earth to be someone who can care for people, who can make people feel seen and valued, who can cover people who are in need, and I think who are hurting. I think that was really the heart that I was given in being created as me. And I had a conversation with my mom recently where I was like, oh, this is going to make me emotional. Oof. 1 second. Geez. It's that time of month, so I can't control these emotions. But I had a conversation with my mom recently, and this actually made me cry while talking to her as well. But it was, hold on, I need a minute. I was like, I feel like I was given a heart that could handle a lot of pain, that could handle a lot of loneliness, or just handle carrying weight. And my mom was kind of saying to me, like, I don't want you to feel like sadness or pain, and I don't want you to overextend yourself to the point where you're getting hurt. And I totally get that. Like, you're my mom, and I think there is a level of how you protect your energy and how you protect your peace. But I also think that I find a lot of fulfillment and purpose in being able to cover people who need it in love, and how to make them feel valued and seen. I think that was a gift that I was given in my creation. And I think a lot of it comes from my mom. Like, my mom was saying to me, she was like, I don't want you to feel pain, and I don't want you to feel sad. And it breaks my heart to hear you cry and all of those things. But she was like, but I understand that that is who you are. And I understand it so well because you're my daughter, and I see that the things about me in you, and I can see why you are the way that you are. And I think I wanted to kind of close off, and I wanted to cave in and, not share my heart anymore. And I wanted to be like, just be stubborn and selfish and just like close in, no more. Don't care. Don't overextend yourself. And then I was like, I just can't. I can't. And that's not who I am. And that's not who I want to be. And so I think for me, I kind of just thought about it as like, there are going to be experiences where you get hurt, but like, don't change who you are because of that, because that is what is special about me. And that is what makes me feel fulfilled and makes me feel like I have purpose, And I think it was very important for me to get to that point. Every experience that you have and every person that you come across, or every moment, I feel like is designed to be in your orbit or your life experience. And, I think my whole life I've kind of really believed in manifestation and like how to manifest the life that I want. And I think part of that is really having faith and believing that it's going to happen. And I feel like I'm in a place right now where I feel very, very lost. Like I feel like I'm doing life for the first time, and I just turned 33, which is really honestly not where I thought I'd be. But I think I'm in this kind of beautiful season that if I take hold of, can be really fruitful. And even in work, like I was saying before I went on that insane tangent, I was really miserable and I felt really lost, and I was like ready to like move on. But then just the past 6 months I don't know what it is, but something in my mind and my experience like changed so much. And I have been so fulfilled at work and enjoying work. And once I shifted my mindset of like, not like what I can't do and what I'm bad at, and like thinking more of like, okay, what do I actually enjoy and how can I put more energy there? Things just started to change and opportunities started to open up. And one thing was that I struggled a lot with imposter syndrome for a really long time. I still do, not gonna lie. Like I think that that's something that will never really go away, but I really struggled with it for a long time. And then I kind of had to do like a challenge for myself where I like shifted my thoughts of like, okay, you're here for a reason. You got this role for a reason. They obviously are keeping you around for a reason. So just have confidence in that and see how you can navigate this space to the best of your ability in a way that makes sense for you. And once I did that, I started to find avenues that I found more interested. And then I started to speak up more, and I started to be like, this may be a really shit idea. This may not make sense at all. This question might be dumb as fuck, but like, who cares? Like, who really cares? Because nobody cares as much as I care. And also, by sitting in the corner and being silent, I'm getting nowhere. And everyone around me, that is what they're going to notice, And once I kind of got out of my head and I just started to challenge myself to be more confident and to be more forward thinking, and things just started happening. Like I started speaking in rooms that I thought I was a bystander in, and like I would be like on the side taking notes, but like now I get to share things that I thought of in those spaces. And it was just like, whoa, like I was really getting in my own way. And I feel like in terms of my work and my career, like I've been feeling a lot more fulfilled, and I just truly didn't think that would come like a year ago. And so I think sometimes it's not necessarily the environment that you're in or what you're doing. It's really your mind and like what it's telling you. And once you kind of sit with it and shift that mindset, like things can change. Sometimes it's not like that. Sometimes you just really fucking hate what you do and you got to move on. But sometimes it's you. It's you creating situations that don't really exist, and it's almost like tormenting you. So that's been really interesting. And I think one other thing that I've kind of learned over the past couple of months is that you just sometimes need to not care. And what I mean by that is like, I think this happens a lot with like Asian Americans or Korean Americans at least, but like when it comes to work or when it comes to just anything someone's depending on you about, you feel this burden and this weight of like always having to show up, always having to give your best, always performing the best, always having to be the one that's like excelling, And I think I have struggled with that a lot, not having boundaries in work or just like in life in general. And I was like, this is my life, and I'm 33. I'm not getting any younger. And I started to feel like I kind of am in a season I don't care and I want to do what I want to do. And it took a lot for me to get there. And I think this season that I have been in, where it's been really challenging, has kind of propelled me to be that way. But I also think like part of me thinks it's just me crashing out, but I'm here for it, honestly, because it's making me brave and it's making me do things that I didn't think that I wanted to do. And like tonight, I'm going to a show that I really wanted to go to by myself. And I'm like really excited about it because that's something that I did long time ago. Like if there was a show that I wanted to see and I knew like my friends didn't really care to go, like I would go by myself, and I didn't do that for a long time. So I was like, I'm going to go. I'm going to go to the fray because I was in New York and they had performed at the Pier and it looked so amazing. I saw a million TikToks about it and I was kicking myself because I was in New York when it was happening and I didn't know. And so then when I checked LA, they happened to be here like today. And so I immediately bought the ticket and I was like, I'm freaking going to go and I'm going to sing my heart out and it's going to be a good time. But also in a couple of weeks, I'm going to be traveling, and my friend from kindergarten, she is traveled all around Europe, and we were talking and just catching up on life, and then we just spontaneously were like, I was like, I kind of feel like I need to get out of the country or like do something or just be somewhere that's like inspiring, that can, where I take time off of work and it's just like I'm just there existing and like taking it all in. And she was like, let's go. And I was like, wait, really? Because if she said, like, if she didn't do that, like, I was already kind of planning to just like do something on my own and go off. I just felt like I really needed that. And so, but she was down. So I was like, oh my gosh, okay. So then I just was like, I'm taking 2 weeks off, which I've never done, honestly. Like in my career, I've never done. But it's like, I don't care. I need this, so I don't care. And so taking 2 weeks off. I'm going to Europe with my girl. We've never traveled together, but we've been in each other's lives since kindergarten. And like, we're still so close. And I feel like she's just like a kindred spirit of mine. And so I think it's going to be so fun. And I think I just really needed that break. And so I don't know. I feel like I'm in a really vulnerable and emotionally broken place right now. But I also think that unlike experiences from my past where I'm like just trying to like fill that void with like, going out or partying or meeting new people or like trying to find validation from other people. Like I just, none of that interested me. Like none of that like was even in my radar, or I didn't even want to explore that because first of all, like I am still very much like emotionally tied, but I also feel like when you have something, an experience or a person or anything like that really like impacted you and it was something that was so special to you and that you valued so much, you honor that and you respect that and you give it the space and energy and love that it deserves, even if it like broke you, because you don't want that to turn ugly. You don't want to make that something that it wasn't. And I wanted to protect that and I wanted to protect my heart and where it was. And it just, none of that even was something that I wanted to explore or navigate. Because for me, I was like, that would be such a shame, honestly. So I've been pouring all of that into me and myself and what's going to happen for my life moving forward. And I think I've always said that like whatever is for me will not miss me, and whatever misses me is not for me. And I think that still rings true. I think that has been my whole life. But I also feel like even in that, there is intention. There is intention behind it. You have to choose what chooses you. And a lot of things in life are choices. You don't just sit around and have a dream and expect it to come. I mean, sometimes it does. Sometimes you get really lucky. But most of the time, even when you're manifesting or whatnot, you don't just sit on your ass all day and then think like, okay, I want this and I'm manifesting it, so it's going to happen. I'm going to sit here and manifest this person and it's just going to happen. Like, again, sometimes it does, but most of the time you have to make a choice to choose a person, make a choice to choose how you're going to navigate where you're going to go and how you're going to get there. You make a choice to put in effort. And, if you have a dream or a passion, it's like putting your energy there and working towards it for it to manifest itself. So I think I'm just in a place right now where I don't know, honestly, like big question mark. Everything is a big question mark. But I do feel like I'm doing the best that I can every day to try to propel myself, whether that be in my podcast or in my work or with my friendships. I just kind of want to become the best version of myself. So like whatever's meant for me when it comes, I am like in a place where I'm so just solid and whole and like fulfilled in where I'm at and who I am. And I think that is kind of the season that I am in right now. And, it wasn't one that I expected, but I'm embracing it and I'm trying to learn and grow from it and through it. And I think that life teaches you a lot of things and things come unexpectedly. But I think they happen the way that they're supposed to. And so I'm just trying to kind of think of it in that perspective and think like had something like there was a reason why this happened. And so, I'm just trying to find comfort in that. And, people around me have been so amazing and so loving and so uplifting. And I'm so grateful that I have an army behind me supporting me through whatever I do. But I also think I've learned a lot of how to self-regulate and how to deal with things personally on my own. And something my mom said was, especially as you get older, you have to learn how to be able to process and go through hard things and navigate them on your own, because people are all individuals and people all have their own lives. And even though you're growing and moving together with people alongside you, that is something super, super important. Like the aspect of community is so important in every way, but it is also very important to be able to do things for yourself on your own and heal on your own. And so that is something that I have been really prioritizing and putting a lot of energy towards. And I think I'm in a little bit of a different stage of my life right now than a lot of my friends. And I'm okay with that because I think that's what I needed. Like, I don't think I'm in a place where I can be in that stage yet, or I'm trying to discover if that's the stage that I want to enter into. And I just feel like I'm in a season of discovery and expansion in like my life. And so I want to put more energy and attention there. And I have this like weird feeling that like maybe I'm called somewhere, and I don't know what it is, but I woke up very recently one morning and I felt in my soul like you might not be here, like in LA. And I was just like, I don't know what that is. At first, when I was in New York, I was like, maybe it's New York. But I don't know. I could be crashing out, to be honest. So I'm really trying to discern that feeling, because I'm like, maybe it's just because I'm feeling like crazed, which it could be. But I just think that I'm open. And I think before I was very like closed off to the idea because all my friends are here, and I was just so like tied to my friends. But I am realizing like a lot of my friends are in a different stage of life and they're entering into a new journey and a new chapter that I'm so excited for. And I will always be like, they're always going to be my friends and they're always going to be my family. And no matter what I do, I know they'll support me. And so I think I'm just really open-minded and just trying to see what happens in this next chapter of my life. Okay, well, next week's episode is going to be with one of my best friends. He is like my brother, someone that is just so special in my life. And I've been wanting to film and share this episode for so long. And it's like, I was going to actually put it towards like the later, like in the middle of the season. But honestly, I was like listening to it back and it was making me laugh so hard. And it was just like so lighthearted. And it really made my personality shine and his personality shine and just our kind of relationship. And so I thought it would be a fun one to start off with. And it's like a big catch up, hangout, friend sesh story time. which is kind of different from like all the other ones. Like we do talk about his career and his how he got to where he is and things like that, but it really felt like a friend catch up. So I think it's going to be really fun. Yeah, I'm excited about what's to come. And if you've listened to the first season, thank you so much. I really, really appreciate it. And like, it means so much to me. And I really am grateful. My heart is so full. And if you continue listening and join me on this journey and support me, thank you, thank you, thank you. Like, I don't even know what to say. Like, it really does mean everything to me. So anyway, season 2, I'm excited. Join me, come along for the journey, and I'll see you next week. Thank you.